Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys! Another episode of Scrap Mechanic. And this is going to be a long-awaited tutorial episode. I know everyone wants to know how I do the things that I do, and I know a lot of people have been asking, so I'm going to show you. So let's do it! Alright guys, we're here. I don't actually have a build to show you because I'm going to build it on cam. Oh yeah! So let's get started. Gotta clean up. Gotta keep certain things. Now I have set up a little bit of a demonstration to show you, things that you need to know about building robots. So it goes as simple as this. I have 4 little stations here. And the basic is, this one, let me show you what we got here. We have 2 bearings in this one, basically. All controlled by a controller, and then that's hooked up to a switch. Now that switch could be hooked up to a driver's seat, so you control it from the driver's seat. Or on the outside of the build, like the ball, so you just hit it once and then you're done. But that's also that was also connected to the driver's seat, so I can hit it from the inside also. But what I've got here is one bearing going up and one bearing going over. Now, as it is right now, let me get rid of this. As it is right now, if both these bearings go at the same time, I'll show you what happens. See, it runs into resistance. That's why all these controllers have stages. Like 1 and 2 and 3. You can go through many, many different things, and then you can loop it if you want. The controllers are very smart. So this one I've set up with 2 stages. See how smooth this is? It goes one and then the other. So when you've got a robot of some sort that you have to move something past something, but you've got to get it up out of the way first, or you want to get a panel out of the way, fold up out of the way, and then you move another part so it looks cool and it goes the way that you want it to go. You have to use the stages. And whenever you have multiple things, you have multiple controllers all controlling one thing. Let's say if I don't have a controller on me. Let's see if you have another controller here, and that's also connected to this switch. You also need, okay, there's nothing in here right now, but the things that are connected to that, if you want to keep timing with this controller, you need the other controller also to have 2 stages. Whatever you have connected to it, it has to have the first and the second, like in here. If you have 3 stages in builds, you have to have all your controllers with 3 stages if you want them to all keep in time. Because, and I'll show you with the next one here. This one, I have going, and then it goes back. Now, that's a strange thing also. Now, you see how the switch is actually off? When I hit this one, and the switch still says it's on. Because it is. But this one, I hit it, and when it goes back to normal, Alright, I've seen that before, though. You can keep on hitting it, and it tends to, like, it goes through the full cycle, and then it finishes. Actually, might be slightly wrong with this, but I mean, it's in the off state either way. But you gotta know, it's gonna go through that same cycle again. So I have the top one going 45 up. This one goes 90 right first. Oh, the other thing that I like to do to keep it all easy, you can switch these which way they go. I like to have them, I mean, it's completely your preference if you want. I like to have them all going the way that I want them to go, with the red versus the blue. So when I get in here, I have all my things, I know which way I'm going. So it's a lot easier to keep track of things that way. If you switch it, like this one I want going up, so I'd switch it, so it goes to red. So then when I go in here and I know I want, 1 to go 90 degrees and 2 to go 45 degrees, I then also don't have to think which way. Just easier to make things go a little faster so you don't get confused. And then you see how it went in that same pattern on the way down again because it follows this. So instead of the 90 again and then the 45 after, you have to do the 45 first and then the 90, because when it goes in reverse, it goes the other way. Let's watch that again. So it does 1 and 2, pauses, and then 3 and 4. And that's how I did like the Lamborghini doors on the fancy cars that I did, especially that supercar. It does the whole motion, and you have to, it finalizes and comes back down. And then this is adding an extra part. So this, it has 3 of them on it this time. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, I didn't do the right order. 1, 2, and 3. But, so if this one goes up, I have this bottom part doing the same exact motion. If this one goes up, it's still going to run into resistance with this back wall, unless I get that out of the way also, and I've done that. But with the same timing. Both of those go at the same time, and then everything folds up out of the way, no problem. With these in mind, you can make things that transform and move and fold out of the way a lot easier. It's all about using those different sections in the controller. See, this goes second, but these go first. So this one doesn't interfere with the first, and you get like a weird snapping motion like this. See, it tries, and then it puts stress on the bearings, and that actually can cause lag a little bit. When the bearings are stressed, now you see on the downward, they want to go the same time. Also, so it stresses on the way down too. It's stress on both sides. So that's like just a quick walkthrough on how bearings want to work with the controllers, and if you want different stages to make things go the way you want and to make things look cool. I do a lot of that in my building because you have to sometimes. Let's go into a slightly lighter area. And the basics of a robot standing up. Alright, it really is quite easy. Let me go there. If you do just a normal base, you have to think of the middle of this base. Actually, I made this exactly an odd number, so it has an actual center point. You don't have to do that. Somewhere close to the middle is always fine, but you're thinking about balance. So I'm going to do exactly middle here. So the middle is there, and then we're going to go off in one direction to make like the first leg. Then you put another bearing, and then you do another leg back to, you want the end, like where the foot is going to be, like say the foot is here. Now you want that mainly to be the center of gravity also. So it all goes up nice. Let me put a controller on here. And a switch on the end here. We'll just connect those quick. Okay. So we have 1, 2, and 3. And that's kind of the order that I want to remember also. So let's do the same thing on this side, because if we do just one leg, it'll stand up all weird. So, there. Another bearing. It's perfectly level. You want to make sure both legs are the same length, or it'll definitely go all wonky on you. There we go. Another bearing, and the foot. Now, the size the foot needs to be all depends on where your center of gravity is. Since this is going to be an actual perfect center of gravity, I can actually take one away here. And I have it going up just right. Basically like a scissor lift, how those work. That's a good way to view this. So let's start connecting things. Back to my connection tool. Another thing to make it easier on yourself, when you have symmetrical builds, which most builds are going to be symmetrical, so they stand up, straight and right. I like to connect them in series. Like 1 and 2 are going to be the same motion. 3 and 4 are going to be the same motion. So it's just easy to keep track of. If you do like one entire leg all connected and then the other side, I mean, you can definitely still do it. But I have that foot a little bigger. You know what? I'm gonna bet it all on the ponies here and take away one more. So we have a relatively small foot here. But if I have the balance right, it should be fine. So we know what we want to do here now. So again, I want these to rotate in the way that I want them so it's easier to control. So 2 is going down, which is what I want. 1 is now going down. You see the red. So because that is going down and this is going to go straight out. You got to think of what you want it to do. So this is also going to rotate the... Nope, down. I'm sorry, yeah. If they both rotate down from their current position, they're going to scissor out. So this one's also down that way. I mean, they're all down, but you want to think which way the rotation of the bar is. And then this needs to be reversed from this first one. So that is correct right there, but that also means it's going to be wrong right there. Alright, setting it up. I'm not going to do any staging on this, so it's all easy. Let me get back here. So 1 and 2 are rotating 90 degrees down, because we want this platform to be vertical, or horizontal when it's stood up. So 1 and 2, 90 down. Easy to do. There we go. 4 and 3, or 3 and 4, are going to be 180 down, because this entire thing is going to go scissor down, and then this needs to go completely 180 degree to be straight once again, but going the opposite direction. So 3 and 4 are 180 down. Yep, there we go. And then that means 5 and 6 are going to be 90 again. Because again, it's going to stay level, and it's going to even out just right. And I only have to worry about going in one direction because I've turned all the bearings the way that I want them to go. So let's take this off this and just take a look. There we go. And it stood up perfectly. Basics of the legs. I use this mechanism in a lot of my stuff, especially the cars, because you want a wide stance like this. So let's say we'd put the tire on that one or the tire on this one, and then when it stands up, so the tire will still be either on the ground for movement, or it'll go up and it'll be the back of the hinge, back of the knee. You know, could look pretty cool. It all depends on what you want to do. And you have to have some kind of a plan going into the builds, or you're never going to accomplish anything. And the other thing, let me see this. Now you see it jerks around a little bit, especially when I hit it up. It does a little bit of a jump. That's the speed on this too. See, down one notch doesn't affect the speed too much, but it just goes up so much smoother. And if I had, let me see, I'm going to put something heavy on the back of this. Let's do some actual metal. So if we just build up a little bit of metal, whoop, that way. I did 5, didn't I? All right. Now it's going to have more weight. Again, all these physics are kind of based in reality, even though it's a video game. But the physics are based in reality. Now, I have a lot more weight on there. It's going to be moving a lot more weight around. So let's see what happens. Still works like that. But if we move this speed up again, now let's see. See it tip? It wanted to tip backwards a little more. Just because you're moving, the momentum of a heavier object wants to sway either way. Now I still have this really, really balanced well, so that's not too much trouble. But you see, it wanted to move just a little bit, and then it comes back forward. Now weight and momentum and the angular momentum, I know these are all big terms, but it's stuff you got to know when you're building robots, you know? Look it up. Google is your friend. Angular momentum. But all that kind of stuff matters in a game like this because you're making something move and it has a certain physics to it. So now if we, let's say we're going to put some arms on this guy. I'm going to make like a weird little frog robot, I think, right now. So arms. Arms. So right now they're going straight out, and that's the way they want to be by default. So that's going to be 7 and 8, and I want the arms to go down. Oh, actually, no, wait. We're going to run into collision issues with the All right, let me do a little more complicated. Wait a minute. So let's take that off. And by the way, the second you take something off towards the end, that's where it's connected. The rest of it will just fall like that. I have made a lot of mistakes, and it happens. I'm still human. With accidentally deleting something, like just kind of hitting the button, bloop, it's like, oh my god. And then actually deleting the block that had the bearing on it, and now that bearing's gone. And then that, whatever's attached to that, everything else just falls off the machine. That sucks. It really does, but it does happen. Oh, I want metal, not concrete. It doesn't need to be metal. You can make it out of whatever you want. I like to try to use as much wood, or if they weren't so ugly, I would use this more. Because you see on the right side there, when I hover over something, it says barrier block and it says lightweight. And then we got tile block, medium weight. Wood is also lightweight. Stone is medium. Metal is heavy. And then the bricks is also medium. So metal is always the heaviest one. So you want to use that for feet if you can. Like if I wanted to, let's get this off of there, make this foot out of metal instead, the weight would be lower. You know, the center of gravity would be lower on the machine itself, because that's the first thing that makes contact, and that'll be the lower center of gravity and the heavier part. It's always good to have your legs or your feet that are going to be planted heavier than the rest of your machine. It just helps the center of gravity and helps it not tip as much. So, you know, I'm going to do that here. Again, both of those fell. I knew that was going to happen, so let's do a little bit of a foot like that. And a little bit of a foot like that. And I've actually made both of these bigger than I need to be. I bet this is that right? That's right. I bet this is going to be even more stable now if I do that. And it's still at the fast speed. I am going to move that down one more. Because you don't always want the fastest speed to make your robot transform. A lot of times more glitches can happen that way, more mistakes. And if you're trying to diagnose something, like something's not moving correctly, you can put it all the way down. You know what I mean? You can leave it all the way down if you want, but this is going to move real slow. But like say, if one of these bloop, is going the wrong way, and this is definitely going to derp on me, the only way to get it back straight is going to be there. Alright, now if I push it, it's going to go all wonky, but you can easily see what's going on a little more. Let me put it back on there. But if I speed it all the way up, it does it quick, and it's hard to notice sometimes. So for problem solving, lowering the speed is definitely a good thing. You can have the lower speed all the time if you want. If you want your transformer to do like a slow motion transform, but you don't really need that. One notch or maybe two notches down is usually the best place to keep it, in my opinion anyway. Alright, so let's make some quick arms for this guy. Arms that fold away, so let's do a double hinge. One there, one there. We'll put a hinge on there, and then a hinge on there. So what this is going to do, it's going to flop right now because they're not connected to anything. Oops. So if I connect these up, right there, and right there. So now we want both of those. 8 is correct, it's rotating the way I want it. 7 is not, so I'll just rotate that quick. Now the other thing I wanted to do on this is another bearing on the end there, because bearings can only move one way. So if we put this, let me do that, and then that. I know this doesn't look like a robot at all, but I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to do some demonstration. So it's flat, relatively. And it's not, they kind of look like shoulders, but they don't look that good. So let's connect these also. And we're about to max out this. There you go. Controllers only have 10 spots available to them. That's all you can do. Alright, so I want that one to rotate down slightly. That's perfect. That is also rotating down. So if we do, I like to do like an angled shoulder. It always looks a lot better. So it was a 7 and 8 are going to go, let's do not a full 90, let's do 60. 60 on that, and then same thing with 45, 90, no, let's do 75 and 75. Again, every time you move it, it goes by 15 degrees. It's just easy to keep track of. And they can do, I guess, in later releases, they could make it available so you could do even more minute changes. But, I mean, 15 degrees is plenty, believe it or not, for most things. Alright, so, I know this is going to be a weird thing right now, but... Oh yeah, I never changed that. Nah, put you back. Back on the lift. Yeah, it's trying to kill me. Alright, put you back on the lift. Take you off the lift. They don't work when they're on the lift. And there we go. So, what that did was it lifted those up. We can actually change that a little more. Let me put that... It doesn't need to be a full... What is it? 7 and 8. 75 is too much. No, 60 is too much. 30. 30 would look better. And it's just a lot of testing. So he's got a weird short little body and he's got teeny tiny arms right now. But now I see what I was going to do with these arms, because you noticed it rotated up and then it rotated down this way. So with the rotation it has now, it doesn't go out at all the other direction, if you know what I mean. But if you put one there and one there, and then you can do this. Oh, I gotta change that. There you go. Go this way. See, this is how you start to have things fold together. And again, I did an odd number here, but... Alright, let's do one more controller. And you can have both. You can have one switch. This wasn't always the truth, too. They used to... I think they changed this and made it a lot easier. When I first started playing, you couldn't have one switch into two controllers. So you'd have to work up some weird finagle thing with sensors, because sensors could be connected to multiple controllers, but switches couldn't. But you could hit one switch to move something to trigger a sensor, and then that would trigger all the rest of the controllers to make everything go the way you wanted. I had to do that in Optimus and one of my other builds. I'm trying to remember now, because this wasn't available just to connect the switch to more than one controller. So this makes everything a lot easier now. It makes everything activating itself at the right time a lot easier. So this is going to activate both of these at the same time. So this is rotating down. So this rotating up this way now makes a angle like that. If you can see the way I'm moving my... You just got to think of where everything's going to end up. So we want it to go out. And we want that one to go out. So that's correct. So... let's move both of these at 90. And actually, to make this look a little better, I'm going to make the 9 and 10 on the first one go 90 also. And you'll see why. I could have left it that way, but that's fine. So, let's do that now. So, what was essentially could have been the bumper, or the front... Ah, you see? Now that's where our timing comes in. When everything goes the same time, you can run into issues like this. So these should go later, shouldn't they? So 1 and 2 on the second one should be on the second timer. But watch what happens here. If they're the only thing on the timer, it doesn't actually do much of a delay. It's going to derp a little bit. There you go. So up, no problem. Down, let's see if it actually does the same thing, doesn't it? Does the same exact thing. Now, this is where some weird stuff is going to happen. Because you want both of your controllers... Oh, wait. Tell me that isn't the only issue. No, it's going to be the same thing. Up. It goes... Oh, alright, it goes out. But it goes back. And it's still derped a little bit. But if I do, let's say any one of these. Let's just take that one off. We know which way we want it to go. So if we put this one on the second controller, so this one is going first with everything else. So 3 is going up to, what was it, the same as 7. I think we did 30 degrees. 3 is going to 30 degrees. Right there. And then this one and this one is going to 30 degrees. But this one has no second stage. So we're going to put one of these. I know it gets a little confusing here. We're going to put one of those. This is now the new 10. And we want that to go 90 that way. So this is going to be a second stage thing. So now both of these controllers have something with a first and a second stage. So now they're both going to be aligned with each other. They're both on the same speed. You have to make sure they're on the same speed also. This one's the same speed? Yes. So now, first stage will go, and then second stage. First stage, second stage. And I have those backwards, don't I? See, it goes. Now this is going to be, I have them backwards. And this, I mean, it just takes a lot of trial and error, and you just keep on working through, and don't get fed up if something doesn't work. Maybe I have to wait and go back to it later. And what happened here? Oh, never mind. That was just an extra one I put on. Goodbye. All right. Now, what actually needs to happen is 10 and 1 on the second controller. I can fix that one quick. They need to be the first stage because they need to get up and out of the way first. So 90 there and 30. It's going to be a little more difficult with this one, but we got to... So this one's 90, and it wants to go first, and then we need to change all the rest of these to 90. Or, well, to be a second stage, whatever degree they're supposed to be. Make sure it's on the second stage. 90, 80. Now, the first and second stage, again, 180. First and second stage stuff is a little more in-depth than most beginners can handle, but I believe in you guys. If you like my videos, you're smart, so I believe you're smart. And, of course, you can do multiple stages. I have one that has 4 stages. Everything goes at the right time to all come together. And this will be the last one, I believe, 90. And so now, the standing up is the second stage. And let me reset it, just so it doesn't look all derpy. Get rid of that. Okay, so first stage is these arms going up so they get out of the way of other things, and the second stage is standing up. So 1, 2, and then it's nice and smooth, and it comes together right. And I have multiple stages on that one still. Alright. It was 1 on the second one. Did I? Yep, I have 90 twice. So that was my mistake. You just go back and fix it. Alright, let's do it one more time. Just get rid of those so you can see. Arms up. And then everything folds together nice. So that would be, so that's like an elbow now. When these initially were a bumper. And then down and in front. You do the same thing on this one. So that is the best way to turn something that was in front. So like it's a bumper or the front of your plane or whatever you want to do. So this is all initially kind of flat. Oh, I can't get to the button now. And then arms up and out. Looks a little bit like a weird mech. Now one thing that always has to be in the same stage is the leg like this. For it to scissor up at the same time, you can't have multiple stages for these. They all have to be one fluid motion for it to keep the correct balance. So, with that in mind, I mean, you can build your own Transformers. It's not that hard. Now, like I said, let me put this up on a lift quick. I mean, this isn't... I can't even put anything on here. This was just a quick little thing, just to show you. Now, let's see. I'm not even going to use bearings, but if you use tires now, and you put, let's see, tires on, let's bring this out some more, put a tire on this. That could be the front of the car. I know this is going to be ugly, but it's just a quick tutorial to show you my process. And then tires here. And I don't think this should affect the balance too much. I might need to add just a little more of a foot to it to change that. But like, okay, so this is essentially my quick little go-kart thing that I did. I mean, it's 3 thick, but I didn't think it all out as much. And again, I'm going to have to get rid of that and that. So that's a weird bumper. But now if you have an engine and a seat on this, you could be standing right here, well, sitting right here. And again, it's an odd number, so it's got a piece missing out of the front. But if I hit that, so those, and there we go. Now that's a pretty cool transformation, just all by itself. Now I would have these also on my pivot, so they'd rotate around to the back. I would actually, if you could put a bearing, let's see how this is one long piece like that. Put a bearing on, in between, like put it there, and then instead of this piece being its own piece attached to this, have it attached to that. So then this whole entire thing could swivel out and be a longer arm, or I mean the sky's the limit, really. You can do whatever you want. And I can't tell you how you guys, that's kind of cool. I can't tell you what you want to build. You have to build what you want to build. But using these tips, I think you can do some pretty cool robots yourself. Do some Transformers. Alright, guys. I hope that helps. I hope learning about controllers helps. I believe I've showed you the suspension glitch in previous videos. I'm not going to go over that again. The suspension glitch for turning I'm talking about, where you have suspension. It likes to... Suspension is basically a no hitbox item, but you can attach something to it. So then when it tries to move through an item, it causes a lot of like jitters and craziness, and it actually can cause the entire platform that it's attached to move. So you can use that for steering. And I'm sure you've seen that in other people's videos, and I'm sure you've seen that on my videos before. Just a quick tutorial on how that works. But that's a fun little thing. And, alright, guys. Thank you so much. If you like this, go ahead and hit a like. If you really liked it, go ahead and hit a subscribe. Share and favorite as you see fit. And I'm going to hit my... Can I hit it from here? Can I stand up on it? Alright, alright. Oh, and we're up. Alright, cool. I should put a seat up here. Alright, yeah, this will be the final. Wait, I'll do this. And I know you can actually connect... I know it's only a toilet seat, but it can have a button connected to it. So if I sit in here and I push number 1, arms up, robot up, and we're a robot. Alright, guys. Have a good day!